Senator, thank you so much for your time and Energy Plan and everything you've done. And I wanted to send you this while it was fresh. My name is Matthew Halleck, and my earlier I spent years with all selling solar in the 23 towns of Fairfield County. I know it like the back of my hand, and I know energy like it. And I wanted to talk to you about, as you develop your plan, I could help you make that a dynamite plan as you shop it around the state, and I can help you a lot. But I wanted to give you a sort of an overview. The state, the county, I'm just talking about the county because that's all we can really control. We can't control the rest of the state, but if we act as a unit, the 23 towns, we have a shot. The plan ultimately is to exit Eversource. They have the water company, and that's another thing. We're going to hold their feet to the fire for environmental justices for all the pipes and all that kind of stuff. They have a terrible environmental record. They're horrible companies, and I'll go through the bill and show you that. You know a lot of it. Avangrid is the other half, and the thing with Avangrid, it's a vertical operation. They're across the country. They have natural gas. It's basically antitrust. They control everything now: the supply, the power generation, the final delivery. It's not legal, but this is why this is important, because it's owned, as you know, probably by Iberdrola, controlled. The majority owners of that Catalan in Spain, not Spanish. It's Catalan. There's a difference. Qatar and Vanguard financial funds in America, and this is important too because they can work out a solution with us. They're the money, and other American ones. All right, Qatar, just so you know, is a thumb-shaped peninsula on the Saudi Arabian Peninsula. All right, it's right here, as Israel is on the other side of the desert there, and then here's the Gulf. Iran is right on the other side of the Gulf. Right here, this part off the coast of Qatar is the largest liquefied natural gas reservoir, sea, in the world, or one of the biggest ones. It's enormous. Qatar controls 75% of it. Iran controls 25% of it. So everything they do across America is customers for that LNG. They have no interest in renewables whatsoever. They have a renewables division out of Oregon. They won't even take a meeting with me. All right, they have no interest in doing it. Okay, so but we need them. We need the LNG for a while. No, there's no question. But you should understand what you're getting into, because this is global geopolitics. You should know about Qatar. All right, they were a bunch of pearl divers until they discovered oil and the LNG. They have a pathetic human rights record. They bribed their way into hosting the FIFA World Cup, where people died there, mostly from South India, and they're still there. They take their passports from them. They're serial bribers. They just got indicted in New Jersey with the guy that got Menendez, who just got arrested there, and other places. They've come up in Connecticut, kind of. They bribed their way into hosting the World Cup. There's a U.S. military base there. There's also an education center where they gave a lot of money to American universities like Cornell and other prestigious universities. And it's the headquarters of Hamas. So now you're involved in that geopolitical conflict with Israel. In fact, when Israel killed the senior leader of Hamas, he was buried in Qatar, and you should just know about what's going on. So we have to. The answer is we need energy independence. Ultimately, the goal is in 15 years to have our own. A sustainable renewable solution. It's not really nuclear, and I don't know where you got that figure about 8 times higher the solar. It's not. It's a different world now. See, it used to be you had power that was generated off-site, right, at a power company, right? So you had to fuel that with whatever you could to spin a turbine to make steam to generate electricity that they transmit over a long distance to your local town, and then they distribute it from that town. All this cost, all this money, everything is done in order to spin that turbine and make steam. The way it is now, like with solar, renewable, whatever, you make your own. You don't access that. It's local, and you consume it yourself. The problem is connecting back to the grid. They have a grid going on. It's ancient. It's complicated, but the answer is to make your own grid. and use batteries. This innovation has just come out in the last few years in a major way. It's always been around, but the technology keeps getting better and better. And we have to build and supplement their grid with our own using batteries at substations, transformers, and that kind of thing. We sort of build our own and we sort of do theirs. There's a lot of ways you can do that. One way and is along the train line, even below the train line. All right, they don't have mineral rights. You can tunnel below it. All right, with a second chance program, manual labor, 1,000 people who would buy their own homes and live on the train line. I've been working on the railroad. They would dig a tunnel below the train line as our own energy grid. All right, chapter 3. Getting back to what we need to do. We need to access and enable the money and the innovation. There is no shortage of money. I mean, big, big money and innovation. There's stuff that is renewables and sustainable that make your jaw drop. But we can't access it now because it all goes up through Hartford, and the utilities control everything and all the levers of power, and they have no interest in it right now. All right, solar is like at 3% and falling in Connecticut. All right, and we're supposed to get 100% in 15 years of renewable. All right, we need a utility, our own utility company that is true to the mission. That includes with the water, like the other email I sent you. We have our own People's Authority just for Fairfield County. Our bills will drop dramatically and we'll have control of our own destiny. I'm telling you, this is the answer. We didn't even talk about waste to energy, which is its own solution, its own problems. But the real thing about that, there's only two things you can do with waste. Put it somewhere or burn it. And if you burn it, there's technology now with waste to energy where you can have catalytics that scrub the effluvium, so it's like water vapor. There's no pollution at all. You can drink the water. And the ash, which is toxic, you can encapsulate that and use it as building materials. It's brilliant, the stuff you can do with waste to energy. But the problem is you have to reduce. You have to change your ways. Otherwise, you're just feeding the beast of more and more and more trash. But that's a separate subject.